Thank you for joining us at Nicky Dare Radio, heard worldwide by millions of listeners, with your lovely host, Ms. Nicky Dare. Our podcast, hosted by Nicky Dare, is your home for education to safety and survival, leadership and inspiration. Nicky Dare is the founder of NickyDare Inc., a registered 501c3 with its mission to educate and mobilize resources for preparedness and sustainability. NickyDare is a grassroots credo and personal mission based on its pillars of excellence: integrity, diversity, adaptation, resilience, and empowerment. Ms. Dare's personal mission is to help you encounter your purpose by unlocking your inherent potential and finding joy in the journey. Women's advocate, transformational mentor, and a seasoned BPR change management consultant since her early 20s in transforming companies. And decades later, she is reinventing her purpose. And now, here's your lovely host, Ms. Nicky Dare.
March 29, 2023. Welcome, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Saving Our Planet, a call to action for a sustainable future. Something that we all love to talk about, but we need to take action. Call to action. And I'm inviting you to please hang out with me here for the next 35, 40 minutes or so. We'll be discussing this very topic. And love you to just sort of relax. If you're driving, stay safe driving, and just listen to this podcast together with me. And if you are in the living room, thank you so much for joining me in your convenient time. And if you are just listening, welcome, you guys. Hey, aloha, buenos dias, buenas tardes. Como talevу? Selamat pagi, you guys. Selamat siang, if it is so. Semua kawan-kawan, welcome to Leadership 365 with Nicky Dare. Leadership 365 Sustainability, where empathy is our policy and saving lives, transforming lives is our DNA, and taking action is the umbilical cord to connect us, grow stronger, to adapt in any challenges. And sit back, relax. Here is a podcast for those who aspire to be a sustainable leader, designed to inspire growth and impact for sustainability, so you can create your best year of 365 days ever. Yes. So it is a podcast. If you are here new, listening to my podcast here today, this morning, it is a podcast focused on leadership development, safety and preparedness, education, transformational growth, and personal development for both your business and yourself. Our podcast is designed to inspire sustainable leadership and create positive impact for a better tomorrow. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. And that was a long intro this morning. I just want to be sure, for those of you who are new, I know a lot of you are new. I have received quite a handful of email and asking me when is the next podcast, and I really truly appreciate you've been listening to my last podcast that has inspired you somewhat and wanting to hear for more. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm your host. Podcast theme today, Saving Our Planet. Won't you know? Saving Our Planet, a call to action for a sustainable future. All right, those who know me very well. Oh gosh, let's not start with that. I will share with you why I say that much later. But through LinkedIn community since global disruption, global pandemic started back in March 2020. We all been shut down, right? The whole world pretty much global disruption, global shutdown, we call it. I decided to start a virtual project called the Global Roundtable. Roadmap to Sustainability. If you Google and find me on LinkedIn, find me the events there. And there's quite a lot of virtual events that we started in 2020 collectively with all business leaders, community leaders that I brought back, bringing together really on a roundtable format when we talk about how we can solve problems, how we can find sustainable or solutions rather, right? So Global Summit Roadmap to Sustainability in Our Future is exclusively designed to bring industry leaders to educate, to exchange views and insights in our current and future landscape around the globe. To date, my team and I were all proud to have a total of 9 global roundtable summits altogether, bringing some of the prominent speakers and thought leaders and community leaders, social entrepreneurs to our roundtable discussions and finding that scalable solutions collectively together. And, this morning I want to talk about just these things, is my personal invite, basically. How is it that we can find sustainable future? How can we, let me turn this down a little bit here. My background music has come dominate the studio here. There you go. We'll come back to you guys later. But yeah, I want to go back and drive you back here again to the content of today's podcast is that the state of our planet, they're understanding the urgency of environmental, action. This is something like an overview of the current state of the planet and the urgent need for environmental action. We don't have to wait until somebody else or the agency or the world to tell us like, hey, we need more trees. We need more trees so we can stay alive. We can keep this earth, what we call home, together. It's all of it is a part of the ecosystem. We can keep all of the whales and dolphins, sharks, yes, all of those 3 predators that live under the ocean, under the sea, under the water. That's part of the marine, biodiversity that we need to stay sustainable for the planet and for ourselves, humanity. This is a discussion on the various environmental challenges that threaten the planet and the impact that have the ecosystems and human life. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm going to gloss through. And hopefully that you guys can extract some insights and perspectives of mine where we all can start thinking about this and taking action at the same time, right? And, what's good of the awareness? That's just halfway the battle. The other critical part of the awareness that I'm doing all of this, advocating this, is really truly taking action, executing all of these things that we talked about, in the flow chart, in the vision board, in the notes that we exchange, whether just organizational or agencies or all of this advocacy and things like that. But anyway, guys, welcome to our podcast on the state of planet. Today, really, we'll be discussing the urgency of environmental action, the challenges that we face today, and perhaps tomorrow if we don't take any actions, and the impact of these challenges on our ecosystems. Like I mentioned, we're all part of the ecosystems and human life. So the current state of our planet is very alarming. Those of you who are paying attention, including myself, in the last 2 decades, in just the last few years, is pretty alarming. Like myself, I would take some trips. The last trips that I always take every year would be Alaska, right? And it's pretty alarming what the difference of just in the last 3 years. I would check out the glaciers, exit glacier. And there's tons of glaciers up there in Alaska. I love the area of Kenai. I love the area of that side, Seward, Homer. And then I would come up there and talk to the local people, the rangers, the park rangers. And, I see my own eyes, right? The ice melting and then things like that. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution are just some of the challenges that threaten our planet. And these challenges not only have a significant impact on the health of our ecosystems, but they also affect us. They affect our human lives. Rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and sea level rise are just some of the ways that which climate change affects human populations. Now, I don't want to get into the political side of this. I'm not taking political stance on this. Some of some of you, some of us, myself, think that climate change is a hoax, climate change is not real. Let's put that aside, and then let's deal with the facts that we are dealing every single day, that in front of us at our table, that we are seeing, that we are experiencing. That's what I'm trying to invite you with. All of this data, all of these facts, all of this posts, all of this narratives, all of this, what do you call this? Like talking heads, that's it. On the media and things like that, whether it is induced with political agenda, I'm not so interested in that, okay? What I'm interested is our human life. What I'm interested is humanity. What I'm interested is how we can take action collectively to a scalable solution, whether it is, obviously I cannot do it alone. I have to, my organization, for example, the NickyDare, the nonprofit, have to be partnering, collaborating with the like-minded, how about that? Like-minded individuals and organizations that have same vision, mission, right? And that's how we can achieve all of these things together collectively, because it does take unified support. It does take a collective effort, unified continuously, right? We can't do it alone. And the aim is not making profit, you guys. The aim is not making profit. That's okay. If it comes, yay, great. But the aim is to preserve the health of our planet. The challenges that is threatening us at our planet right now, yeah, we can go do about and run our business, and our aim in our business is generate profit, making money, business, and all that's oriented. That's great. But what happens if it's unplugged? Everything is done. You guys are not gonna do any of this luxury stuff, right? So yeah, let's go back again to the podcast here. The urgency of environmental action, there is so much needed, is urgent. The need for the environmental action is very extremely urgent and critical. We cannot afford to ignore the challenges that we face any longer. The summit, in France, for example, and then the G in Bali that was held last year back in, I believe it was November, in the late Q4 of 2022. All of these global leaders met together, and one of them is talking about how can we preserve the planet. Making money is one thing, but how can we preserve and maintain the health of that, protect the biodiversity, and then reduce all of this pollution, all of the environmental challenges that we have, and then you guys don't have the businesses and don't have the corporations. And that's part of the corporate responsibility as well, by the way. And we have seen that with the chemical toxic spill recently in Ohio, right? It is part of your social responsibility as a corporation that if you do these things, how is that going to affect your local community? Is it still healthy? You're responsible for keeping it, your community, local community, run your organization and business. The pollution, the protecting the environment, protecting the people, for God's sake, right? Failure to act will lead to irreversible damage to our planet, right? And the collapse of the ecosystem that support human life. Yeah, Nikki has a multilingual tongue. I have to process everything in a different languages, right? I speak different languages, obviously. You guys know that. You guys know me. But failure to act will lead this to, damage to our planet that cannot be reversed, and the collapse of the ecosystem that support us, the human life, right? So the challenges that we face are truly complex, no doubt. And guess what? They're all interconnected as well. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution are just some of the environmental challenges that we face, right? We'll take a deeper dive into each of these challenges and discuss their impact on the ecosystem and human life. And I promise I'm going to have a segment just for that. But again, the next one that I was going to mention is the impact on the ecosystems and the human life. The impact of the environmental challenges on the ecosystem and the human life is very truly significant. Simply said, just like that. We'll discuss how biodiversity loss affects food security. That's a big deal, huge, huge deal. You guys go to my, if you're listening to this, go ahead and scroll down to my Twitter, twitter.com. My handle is at Nicky_Dare. Again, at Nicky_Dare. Look at what I had posted a couple days ago about, how when we don't take action, sooner or later, everything's going to be controlled. What we eat, what we do with this food security, the banking collapse that we talked about in the last couple episodes of this podcast. But all of this has something to do with the interconnection, the ecosystem, right? The financial, the system, the food security, the biodiversity loss, all of this thing. Climate change affects water resources and how pollution affects human health. Water sources, water resources, affects human health. I mean, it's great that you live in a developed country, in a country that is unmodernized. The water resources comes that tap into your sink or tap water or not tap water, filter water, obviously at your home and in your workplace. But a lot of countries out there outside the United States perhaps don't have that luxury. They have to go to the nearest river, nearest some water reservoir, or whatever they have, river that has multifunction for the local people to wash their laundry, go, do their business, potty, right? Use that, and then drink it also, all at the same time, multifunction. So, think about that. Yeah, it makes you like, oh my God, that's gross, Nikki. Yeah, exactly, but that's reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. That's reality. Look at some countries. You guys, this is a no-brainer, right? So it is pollution, the climate change that affecting water resources. It does affect us, our health, human health. Maybe not in our proximity right now, right? In this country. No, not right now. I shouldn't say it right now. Ever. We'll also discuss how this impacts disproportionately affect marginalized communities and vulnerable populations. Now, our work, because I'm a founder of this nonprofit called NickyDare. NickyDare Cares is the hashtag. NickyDareCares.org. My team and I, we would go to these marginalized communities and vulnerable populations, right, and look into their lifestyle, basically in their daily day in, day out, the daily life, how they survive, how they can survive with whatever limited resources they have available. And it's really hit home, right? We have to embrace these things and say, maybe we have to be mindful of utilizing what we have, the available resources that we have here. I call it luxury. Exactly. Because other people may not have those. So, yeah, I just want to mention all of these things, you guys. It is clear that we need to take action now to protect health of our planet and ensure a sustainable future for our kids and generation to come. I hope this podcast will inspire you, and it is my personal invitation from another fellow human, myself, to another, you, to take action and join the fight for environmental action. I hope that you stay for the next few minutes here with me, and as I'm providing this next portion of Saving Our Planet, a call to action for sustainable future. Really, it's a podcast series that I hope to bring for the next few weeks. It's just to dedicate it to exploring the urgency, the urgent need for environmental action, and the role that we all can play in creating a sustainable future. I'm going to repeat that. Sustainable future. I love the word sustainable future. I'm an advocate when it comes to sustainability, and it is beyond the climate change. As you already know that. It is beyond the environmental. It is taking action of you individually. It is creating a sustainable future for ourselves and the planet overall. All right, guys, I'm your host. If you just got here, hopefully that you can listen to the pre before this. But if you just arrived, welcome. I'm your host, Nicky Dare, and in this episode, we'll be discussing the current state of our planet and the urgent need for environmental action. All right, I'm back. Hopefully you love that background music, I try to mix it up and not, to be creative. And also, hey, I have a podcast, right? Welcome, guys. My name is Nicky Dare. I'm your host. The Earth is facing a multitude of environmental challenges that threaten the well-being of all living beings, species, including humans, especially humans. I am an advocate, and I'm very, very passionate on just learning and curious how the earth works and what has happened in the before us, right? The humanity and all of this thing, the history of the earth, and maybe perhaps the future as well. How is it going to look like in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, right? And I'm passionate about learning all of that. I'm curious about the space exploration, obviously. That's why I'm a fan of Elon Musk, right? Not to mention that my father was also part of the NASA program back in the 80s and early 90s. And I was personally invited to see him when he was doing walk through the NASA in Houston. And back then we didn't have phone, obviously, so we didn't take any selfies. But I saw my late father was in an astronaut suit, and I was just proud of him, hands down. And ever since then, I've been really curious about space. I've been curious about Earth. I've been curious about, how we humanity ever even exists in the first place. So, my passion for moving forward for sustainable future is the focus, safety, survival, preparedness, sustainability, all of those things that I just told you are the key highlight in my passion, basically. And, I hope to bring some of my experiences, my know-how and knowledge and hands-on experiences in the multitude of different arrays of experiences and knowledge. Hopefully that I can inspire you guys listening to this. And, together it is an invite together that we can collectively find solutions, seeking solutions ever so, right? And continuously. Yeah, there's a gazillion of problems, issues that we're facing every single day here on Earth as a human. And, we ever so need to find solution. I think it's an invitation. Every time I speak on my podcast, I just hope that you guys can be inspired to take on the challenges and, finding solutions as business leaders. All right, moving on. I'm rambling. Switch to decaf. From climate change and deforestation to pollution, habitat loss, all of this impact of these challenges is becoming increasingly obvious and severe, right? I've covered all of this since 2020, more so. In our global roundtables, in specific discussion with business leaders and just experts in sustainability. Roadmap to Sustainability basically is a platform that I have opened up since back in the global shutdown 2020. So I really want to continue discussing this, guys, and taking action. Perhaps, you go back to your organization, you go back to your team and community, and then you say, oh gosh, this has inspired me. And then we really need to take immediate and sustained action to protect and preserve our planet for our kids and our future generations ahead to come. So to help us understand the urgency of this issue, I will be joined, and I will be inviting in my later episodes with some environmental experts and advocates, for sustainable development. I promise I'm gonna do all of that, just like what I have done with my roundtable. I know one is coming up for the Earth Day this year, 2023. Earth Day, to celebrate that, we always, have the roundtable together as a globally. So I will be sharing my personal insights and perspective about the planet and environmental challenges that we are facing today. Just scratching the surface on this episode, this podcast. So hang out with me for the next few minutes, okay? If you are just if you're just listening, start listening, you're welcome. This is your host. My name is Nicky Dare, and hopefully you can hang out with me here for the next few more minutes. If you missed the other first part of this podcast, don't worry. You can always listen it to from the iHeart Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Yes, I'm in Spotify too. And iHeart. What else is there out there? Apple, of course. Yeah, all of those, really platforms, podcast platforms that's available out there for you. Yeah, there are also fancy stuff out there. My gosh, I can keep up. But yeah, iHeart is where my home is for the podcast, so you guys can listen to it. The planet is currently facing a number of interconnected environmental challenges that are having a significant impact on our ecosystems and human life. Climate change is really one of the biggest threats that we're facing. But I just want to make it clear that every time when I say sustainability, that word, it really is beyond the climate change. And I just invite you to kind of put that aside, the climate change perspective, because it kind of allude to political stance, and I don't want that to be a hindrance of every time when I mention or I want to open up discussion about sustainability, because it's not. Climate change is just one of the biggest threats we're facing with rising temperatures. Like I said earlier, the glaciers, the melting glaciers in Alaska. It's just one of them, Alaska, because I go there annually. And extreme weather events becoming more frequent and severe. And, right now it's March 2023. I bet you anything, and you can save this podcast. This summer 2023 is going to be a different summer. It's going to be extreme heat. And knock on wood, I hope we can go away. But this is just something that I can predict. No, I'm not a meteorologist or any weather expert and anything like that. But I've been advocating this kind of thing for the last over 2 decades. And that's why I have this nonprofit called NICKY DARE, right? For safety, survival, sustainability. Our mission, our goal is really to save lives by just educating ourselves and educating you, to prepare ourselves basically for any natural disasters, man-made disasters, or any kind of like that. And, pretty much avoid any injuries. We all know we're not going to be 100% prepared, but we can certainly, educate ourselves and train ourselves and prepare ourselves to reduce those disaster risks, basically, right? So the climate change is one of the biggest threats we're facing. We agree on that, right? With rising temperatures, melting glaciers, all of these extreme weather events becoming more severe and become more frequent now. I remember just 10 years ago, a decade ago, not 2 decades. 2 decades ago, nobody listened to me. But starting like about 8 years ago, before pandemic, people are coming into our workshop to community mitigation lectures, my mitigation lectures in the community and things like that, right? And they start listening. Now it's becoming more frequent, these weather events, extreme weather events. This is having a devastating impact on the ecosystems. Yeah, wouldn't you agree? Yes, you nod. Thank you. With many species facing extinction due to changes in their habitat and food sources. Not to mention, I said it earlier in my podcast, if you didn't hear it, is that, I am sort of cumbersome or just kind of saddened whenever I see, those 3 predators, the biggest predators in the ocean and the sea, sharks, whales, and dolphins are being scooped out. It's like, why? Let them be. That is why God created them, to be part of our ecosystem so we can stay alive on this planet, in our home. That's part of our biggest, ecosystems in the ocean. Leave them alone, right? And, as long as obviously they're not going to bother us, why are we chasing them? To kill them? To do what? Greed. 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 I'm not an advocating of, sponsored by whatever. I'm sponsored by myself. I'm sponsored by a human. Me. I'm a human. I'm advocating, when I said I'm advocating safety, survival, whether it is gun safety, none of that's political stance, guys. It's because I am a human being. I want to protect myself, right? And I think you should too. Because safety, the responsibility of being safe and your safety as a person, as a human, it is yours. It is your responsibility. So anyway, okay, it goes so deep, Nikki. I'm going tangent again. So where were we? We're talking about the what do you call this? The impact, devastating impact on ecosystems. I'm just a little bit sad, that's all, about the species facing extinction. I mean, I just named you 3 different species there, and then there are predators, obviously, in the ocean and the sea, but you know what? They're also part of the ecosystem, and it just broke my heart every time when I see that humans are chasing them in the ocean just to be greedy, to make profit and things like that. Just leave them alone. If they don't bother you, just don't bother them. That's all. Okay. So species facing extinction due to the changes in their habitat and food sources is definitely, they're all getting affected also by the changes of the extreme weather. Deforestation is also a major issue, and I mention this all the time whenever we have the global roundtable. And trees are so important, and I love what France are doing, planning for the 2050 and planting trees basically, with vast areas of forest being cleared for agriculture, logging, and other human activities. Again, this is all for what? Making profits, right? I'm not going to get into this political thing or propaganda that, we're cutting trees so we can sell it to other countries for profit. Yeah. I mean, it is reality. It is happening. I think we need to be mindful as a human. We need to preserve this collectively. Otherwise there's not going to be any planet left. This is not only contributing to climate change, all of these things, right? The forest that for agricultural, logging, other human activities, and I can't name this, all negative things, but also resulting in the loss of biodiversity and the displacement of indigenous communities. Oh God, that is such a true fact. So I just said, let's pause that for a minute. Wow. It's true. Displacement of indigenous communities, not just a loss of biodiversity. All right, so pollution is another significant challenge, right? Other than deforestation and, extension of all the species that I personally think is just brutal. Pollution is another significant challenge, with air and water pollution causing serious health problems for human and wildlife alike. Habitat for the loss, and I love this word, degradation, are also affecting the planet's ecosystem, resulting in the loss of the critical habitats and decline of many species. You think about that. You put the puzzles together, and it's like, it's us, you guys. I mean, some that we can control, some are not, few are not, can't be controlled, but the ones that we can control, please take action. Together, collectively. The environmental challenges we are facing are becoming increasingly severe and urgent. And I'm going to say this again. We do not take action now, we risk the irreversible damage to the planet's ecosystem and to our own well-being. We need to act now to mitigate the impact of climate change, preserve biodiversity, and reduce pollution, among other things. So by taking action now, we can certainly create a sustainable future for ourselves and future generations. I hope that somewhat I can provide insight into this current state of the planet and the importance of taking environmental action. I really do hope so. All right, I'm going to just insert another second part, guys. Welcome back to this Saving Our Planet, a call to action for sustainable future. In our last episode, and I'm integrating this portion because I think it just makes sense to just integrate this, incorporate it with the previous one. We just discussed the urgent need for environmental action and current state of our planet today. At this point, I want to just dive deeper into one of the most critical issues facing our planet, the health of our oceans. The health of our oceans, our seas. I mean, this is so important. Let's take a pause here, a little bit here. I'm back. Okay, so the most critical issues facing our planet is the health of our oceans. I just saw a documentary. Well, a couple of documentaries about our oceans, and it's just chilling. Shivered. I just shivered through my my back, my spine is like, wow. You know, when you really read something, data and facts, and you put all your research together, and then you put that also into your visual, you know, into this documentary visuals, and it really hits your emotion, right? And it just saddens me to see what's happening and what have humans doing to our ecosystem and animal life out there. Look, our oceans cover over 70%. You know that, right? 70% of the Earth's surface. That's our ocean, and support an incredibly diverse ecosystem of plant and animal life. I'm a diver, scuba diver. I love the underwater life. It's really offers tranquility if you haven't been down there, peace, and you enjoy this marine life, animal life. You see these things. No, you go down to the floor of the ocean. Of course, you see the crabs that you eat, and you go like, oh, I'm not going to eat crabs anymore. Crab legs, and all of these things, right? It's just amazing. It's incredibly diverse ecosystem down there. However, in recent years, the health of our ocean has been rapidly declining to, again, human activities such as overfishing, right? I mentioned this. That's why I want to integrate this portion to this podcast today. Pollution and climate change. In fact, according to recent studies, around 90%, write that down. 90% of the world's fish stocks are either fully or overexploited, leading to the extinction of many species of fish. Look, okay, you guys who know me, I'm a fisherwoman, right? In fact, I've been in a couple of annual fishing competition, you know, all of this competition. I won, basically, right? But those are sports fishing. Those are not commercial fishing. Those are not scooping out everything all the way from the bottom of the floor of the ocean and make a profit out of it and then do more of that and then just over-exploiting it. That's called greedy. Yes, Greed with a Y. Greedy. We need to think about that. If you're listening to this and you're part of that problem, the exploitation, you might need to change and shift and think about the overall sustainability and the future of this planet, our home, and the generation, your kids, your grandkids, generation to come, because they also want to be here. This is their home also. If you continue doing that, exploiting the fish just for profit, pure profit, you're part of the problem. Okay, we need to move on. To help us understand the gravity of the situation, let's dive in together in this area discussion, all right? The question, why the health of our ocean is so important, and what can we do to protect them? I wish there is an ocean police. I think we do. We have an agency of that. If you're listening to that, please do your job. Answer to that, our oceans are a critical part of the Earth's ecosystem and support the livelihoods of millions of people around the world. They regulate our climate. They produce also oxygen, the O2 that we breathe in, provides a source of food and income for billions of people. However, the health of our ocean is currently in jeopardy due to human activities such as overfishing, pollution, climate change, everything. But overfishing, I want to make that bold because we can control that. We can control that. Pollution also. Overfishing and pollution is all by human activities. We need to take immediate action to protect our oceans by reducing our use of single-use plastic. I know I am also part of the problem with that because I'm still using plastics when I drink my latte. We can't do that. But we're talking about the bigger, plastics, plastics, what do you call that? Trash to the ocean. I'm talking about that because it all goes to the ocean, whatever the garbage, right? that we have. Because that's where it goes, to the ocean, back to the ocean. So we do need to reduce this use of single-use plastics. Reducing carbon emissions, right? Before I forget. And enforcing sustainable fishing practices. I don't know what that is, sustainable fishing, but I don't think many of us or many of you are practicing that. Yeah, it's great to say sustainable fishing, but if you're still scooping out everything out of the ocean, that's not sustainable fishing. Let's enforce that. We also need to leave marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, sharks alone where they belong in the ocean to maintain our ecosystem. I'm going to repeat that so many times. We need to leave marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, sharks alone. Those are my three, oh my God, those are my three favorite. I know they're predators, guys, but they are part of the biggest ecosystem in the ocean that gives us oxygen and provide sources of food and income for billions of people. I should say that too, right? Regulate the climate. They're regulators. They're agents of regulators of regulating the climates in this planet. You think about that. And they produce oxygen as well. So leave them alone where they belong in the ocean to maintain that ecosystem, which is our ecosystem. That's really interesting. Another question, can you explain to us why marine mammals are so important to our oceans and what can we do to protect them? I'm not a marine biologist, for any of that, but I have been researching this and I just want to share with you what I know, right? I just want to share with you what I have researched and the data that I have compiled, combined with my hands-on experiences and things like that, right? So the answer to this is that marine mammals play a critical role in maintaining the balance of our ocean ecosystems. For example, right? I love whales. It's whale season right now in Cabo, right? Well, because and dolphins and remote islands, so beautiful. You guys need to go to my YouTube. Sorry, I'm tangent right now. Go to my YouTube, Nicky Dare, at Nicky Dare, and then just Google, video swimming with the dolphins, and you'll see that. Oh my God, it was back in July 4th. I don't know what year, but it was a remote island in Sea of Cortez. I think way up in north. How was it? I don't remember what it was, the longitude, latitude, but it was really, it's like paradise. It's like piece of heaven on earth. It was so peaceful. It's just the dolphins swimming and a bunch of fish, obviously. When there are dolphins, going to be a lot of fish and a lot of bigger fish, obviously. But by the island, it's just the island, just the two of us. When we're all, boating and fishing and more than just boating, really, and to enjoy just the landscape of the island and enjoy the water, enjoy the peacefulness and tranquility, serenity of Earth. But yeah, these are something that I want to share with you all, the visual, that is part of our home, which is Earth, this planet. So marine mammals play a critical role in maintaining that balance of our ocean ecosystems. We agree on that. So whales help to regulate the carbon cycle by absorbing and storing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, right? Breathe in, breathe out. Dolphins and sharks are apex predators and help to keep other populations of marine life in check. You think about that. Unfortunately, many of these species are facing threats such as habitat loss, I hate to say this, but entanglement in fishing gear and direct hunting. My Rule 101, I know I'm a certified forensic and all this, and I also do scuba dive and everything. I'm not a spare, whatever that you do down there, but when I have to hunt, it's something for survival. Either survival or my life is in danger, but not chasing them to kill them, if that makes sense to you. To protect these species and maintain the health of our ocean, we need to respect. Again, we need to respect their natural habitat and leave them alone leave them alone where they belong. It's not like all of this. Imagine the dolphins and the sharks and the whales, they all come out to the land and then start killing us too. I mean, what would you like that, right? We got to do the same. It's mutual respect, okay? It's clear that we need to take immediate and sustained action to protect the health of our oceans and the biodiversity that they support. So, right, guys, the next episode we'll be discussing solutions to the plastic pollution crisis, and hopefully I can cover that more, in a more realistic way, practical way, and what we can do to reduce our plastic consumption. I'm going to invite some guest speakers as well, if I can, and we're going to talk about that the next episode. If it's not the next, it's going to be the next couple one, but I am going to cover all of this discussion. I think it's very important, pertinent right now that we are facing great challenge, great threats into this health of our planet and the existence, actually. All right, so that's that for the episode. I want to integrate with our today's podcast to saving our planet, a call to action for a sustainable future. Before I forget, be sure to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date with the latest episodes, and go to my podcast.nickydare.com. There are, if you have missed out, there are some topics really in a different category of discussion that you might be, interested in to listen to. So I really appreciate that. Again, that is podcast.nickydare.com, and you can always certainly tune into the iHeart podcast and Google my name, search my name on the iHeart or Spotify, Nicky Dare. Before I go, I want to give you guys some examples of actions that individuals and society, community as a whole can take, can really execute and take action on to protect the health of our oceans. Okay. I just want to really gloss through this really quickly. Reduce plastic consumption. One of the most effective ways to protect our ocean is by reducing our use of single-use plastics. This includes the reusable bags. Okay, a lot of grocery stores are really, really good with this, and they're already implementing this for years now, and I'm very proud of them, and continue doing this. Water bottles, food containers instead of disposable ones. Okay. The second thing is support sustainable fishing practices. We need to sit down again to define what is sustainable fishing, because it's not scooping out everything, right? Sustainable fishing. First, understand and learn the definition, what it's all about, and what is expected of that, sustainable fishing, and the goal of sustainable fishing. Then we can practice it together. Choose seafood that is certified as sustainable by organizations such as the MSC, Marine Stewardship Council, or the ASC, the Aquaculture Stewardship Council. That's what I know. So I don't know if you guys listening and you guys know anything better than this. Let me know. Definitely give me a feedback on this podcast. And the next one is reduce carbon emissions. Reducing our carbon emission is critical for protecting the health of our oceans. This includes reducing our use of fossil fuels, supporting renewable energy sources, and promoting energy efficiency. The next one would be support our ocean conservation organization. There are many organizations really dedicated to protecting the health of our oceans, such as the Oceana, Ocean Conservancy, and the SSCS, I believe, the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. Supporting this organization through donation or volunteer work can make a real difference, and I encourage you to visit our websites and make your call. Obviously, make your choices and decisions, and supporting how you can support. The next one is leave marine mammals alone. Oh my God, that's going to be my slogan. Nicky Dare slogan. Leave marine mammals alone. Marine mammals are just dolphins. I love these creatures. They're the most beautiful creatures. Dolphins, whales, sharks play a critical role in maintaining the balance of our ocean ecosystems. We should just avoid disturbing or harming the species by avoiding activities such as hunting. Don't hunt them. Or disturbing their natural habitat. Not unless they come after you, and you take that action. But don't go out there and start hunting them and disturb their natural habitat and then make profit on top of all of that. Shame on you guys. All right, so here's one of my favorite quotes I have shared over and over and over again throughout our global roundtables, Roadmap to Sustainability, which this quote becomes really our signature quote. Sustainability in our future. We cannot achieve environmental and organizational resiliency in our planet without achieving our personal sustainability. I love that. I love that so much. I really thank you for listening, you guys. Really, really thank you. About NickyDare, I think I mentioned about NickyDare is my nonprofit. Those of you who know me, I've been advocating the subject through my nonprofit called NickyDare. It's 100% grassroots. Its mission is to live sustainable life with integrity that embraces safety and disaster preparedness, planning with adaptability, resilience, and empowerment through emergency management education. What is NickyDare? NickyDare is an acronym for integrity, diversity, adaptation, resilience, and empowerment. It is 100% grassroots. Our goal is to save lives by educating and mobilizing resources for disaster risk reduction and sustainability. The goal of NickyDare's core programs are to raise awareness, of course, taking action, educate, connect, and engage supporters, empower leadership, and power advocacy efforts. So please do learn more about this grassroots nonprofit on their website. Now I'll go ahead and give it to you and write it down, or remember. It's really easy to remember this. NickyDare Cares. Like I dare you. NickyDareCares.org. Again, NickyDareCares.org. 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 Their signature hashtag is NickyDareCares. Your small donation can make a huge impact. All right, guys, that's it for me. Hope that you will be joining me again in my next podcast. Thank you for listening to saving our planet. I mean, this is something that, I want to talk about before, but I think it's just great that we resume this podcast. Thank you so much. Saving our planet, a call to action for a sustainable future. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date with the latest episodes. And I'm going to close with these thoughts with my quote. Let's unite for a greener tomorrow, join the call to action, and work towards a sustainable future for our planet. After all, this is our home together. Let's make it a sweet home, and safe place to be for our kids and generation to come. Live happily and sustainably. Yes, live sustainably. That's all for me today, you guys. Until next time, don't forget to check out my latest books published recently back in January 2023, The Kaizen Currency of Sustainable Success, an ecosystemic approach to life. It is an interactive business book that encourages a business-oriented Kaizen mindset in the pursuit of long-term sustainability and success. It is a guide for personal, professional growth that draws on this Japanese concept we all know called Kaizen, which emphasizes continuous improvement and small incremental steps. And this book, who is it for? For you guys, for CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, all of you who's seeking success and sustainable business. It provides an overview of Kaizen philosophy, practical advice, and strategies for applying it to various areas of life, and an in-depth exploration for the ecosystemic approach to success. And with its blend of Eastern and Western philosophies, the book Kaizen offers an inspiring, actionable plan. I always like to include that. Action taking for achieving long-term success. Worth checking it out either on my website or Amazon. And check out my website, books and courses.nickydare.club. Again, books and courses.nickydare.club. Google my name, Nicky Dare, on Amazon, and it should pop up on Amazon. Next book that I want to worth mention, is that's recently published also in January 2023. It's called Situational Leadership. Yes, situational leadership. Incorporating situational awareness for effective decision making and adaptability in dynamic environments. It is a book that emphasizes the importance of situational awareness in effective leadership. The book explores how leaders such as yourself can adapt to dynamic environments by making decisions based on situational awareness rather than relying on a fixed leadership styles. When I write this book, I try to emphasize the focus on that leaders must be adaptable, right? And able to make informed decisions based on the current situation rather than applying it a one-size-fits-all approach, and that's nonsense. The book provides practical strategies and techniques for developing situational awareness and applying it in leadership situations. Basically, it is a book. It has a lot of valuable resources for leaders looking to enhance your leadership skills in today's ever-changing business landscape. Check them out, you guys. Kaizen is in paperback. Yes, 315 pages long, but really creatively written, and it's really nice, and it's available in Kindle as well. Don't forget to leave me your feedback. Those book reviews are the best true gifts for me. I hope you do enjoy reading these books as much as I enjoyed writing them. Again, I hope you enjoy reading these books as much as I enjoyed writing them. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Leadership365 at Nicky Dare, and we hope you found today's education discussion very educational, informative, and helpful, I hope. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insights and strategies on leadership, and I want to hear it all from you guys. What is one thing that you have learned recently that has a positive impact in your life? Please hit me up on social media platform. Everywhere is Nicky Dare, really. Nicky Dare. I'll share anything good that gets sent in. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do listen to iHeartRadio and Spotify, don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Nicky Dare and leave me some comments or feedback. Again, your feedback is truly a gift for me. Thank you for listening today to this episode of the Leadership Podcast, Leadership365. And start creating your best year of 365 days ever. Podcast.nickydare.com. My very last thought, and I'm going to leave you with this. Creating a sustainable planet is not an individual task, but a collective responsibility that we must all take on together. Let's work hand in hand towards a greener future for generations to come. Stay vigilant, stay safe, you guys. Until next time, sampai jumpa. Selamat Ramadan for those who are celebrating Ramadan for the month. And God bless. Love you guys. Talk soon. See you soon.
You have been listening to Nicky Dare's Radio, a podcast of sustainability with your host, Ms. Nicky Dare. Nicky Dare's life has been spent passionately in helping others going through transformation, both personal and professional. To learn more, please visit Ms. Dare's websites, education.nickydare.com. Workshops on safety preparedness, situational awareness are available. Also available, the Transformational Coaching Series. For corporate and private group pricing, please contact us. Please visit her website, nickydare.com. All of her broadcasts are available for free download on iTunes podcast Nicky Dare. For more details on opportunities for sponsorships and speaking engagements, please email us at education@nickydare.com. Join her next time, living in purpose and passion. Our mission is to live a sustainable life with your host, Nicky Dare.